All right, boys. So I got this done today. I took a wood block and I cut it out, a piece of wood, and then I used latex or Loctite all-purpose repair putty, and I pressed it into the putty after putting the putty behind it, and then I put a screw through it, along a 3.5 inch long screw all the way through it, deep into the foam. And then I pressed putty all around here to create like a larger base, so it has more of this foam to stick to, so that it won't be like easy to break off. And then I sculpted all this out of Loctite all-purpose repair putty, the 2-part type that comes in a stick. And then I got it like just how I wanted it, and then I pressed it up and formed it around this post, and now it actually goes in there quite nicely. And this was the original. You can see it does look different, but this one had to go way down, and it was at a slant because this is like an angled portion. And as far as like this work, I've improved on it a lot with sanding and adding caulk, and sanding, adding caulk. And you can see it's a lot better. And some areas were kind of peeling like this, so that needs to be pushed up. So I was just finger painting on 401 glue into some window screen, because you could press it right through the screen and push it through, and you just keep doing that until it all goes on. And I did that all here too, where there was a stress crack in the caulk. You can see the crack beneath it, but that's all window screen. And so it's all rock solid now. So this acrylic latex painter's caulk does tend to crack over time. You can see a lot of small cracks here from the vibrations and the heat cycling. This is cracked too. So I'm kind of going over that with the window screen and 401 glue, because this caulk is not really that reliable. I would have been better off with paintable silicone, because this stuff just is weak when it comes to like tensile strength over time. Whereas paintable silicone, like, I don't believe it would ever crack like that. But I was talking to ChatGPT, and it was saying like if you added a filler in here, like a 1-to-1 ratio of this caulk, and you mix it with calcium carbonate powder, or you mix it with sand, or you mix it with baking soda, it would be less likely to crack, because it cracks as moisture leaves it. But if you have like more filler in it, the moisture leaves it, but then it's not like pulling together, because like the sand particles and stuff kind of stop the shrinkage, because there's not as much caulk to shrink, and those don't shrink. So if you're getting half the shrinkage if you have half of it filler that can't shrink. And so half the shrinkage may prevent the crack from happening in the first place, because it can handle a certain amount of shrinkage, but eventually it splits apart if it gets too much stress on it. So that was a pretty cool thing I learned about. All right, and so yeah, I've just been like fixing those little areas, and like I added more filleting here to ease that transition, the angle a little better, and especially in that corner. And some of the stress cracks I just filled with more acrylic, because the way I'm thinking about it, like the crack relieved the stress, and now you just fill it with more acrylic and let that dry, and then that like solves it, because now you get the tensile strength back and it becomes one cohesive unit again, and you're going to get no more shrinkage on the part that already is cracked and fully cured for like 2 years. And then the new silicone you put in there, not silicone, painter's acrylic, acrylic caulk, that will not be able to shrink that much, because it's just filling a little crack. When you have it in a large area, or a very long and wide area, and it's got some forces pressing down on it, and it's just like the more you use, the more it wants to shrink and crack. It's designed just to go in a little bead, which when it shrinks, it doesn't really matter that much because it's a small amount of shrinkage because it's a small total volume being placed on there. As far as applying it, a really good way to get this nice smooth results where I don't need to sand at all when I'm done, rather than use my fingers, which was less precise, I found a really cool way, and I'll show you real quick. Hold on. Okay, so I would just put the caulk inside here or apply it directly on there and then smooth it out with my Ventra card. You could use a credit card too, like an old one, and you just use this to smooth it. It works really well. Kind of the same principle as like the spatula you use to apply Bondo. This worked really well for that. You can see how smooth I was able to get it. It's just like super smooth. And I was able to make complex shapes because the credit card's not too big and there's no like finger marks and whatever. It's like just really smooth. And you know, there's like some micro lines you can see where the credit card was, or the Ventra card, but it's not too bad. Oh, you can see here a part that opened up in here. So this part we still got to go over. Now I don't need to use the window screen method for all of it. I'm going to use some of this. This is compression shirt material with adhesive transfer tape. I'm going to press that on it, and then once that tape's on it, then I'll be able to apply super glue over that, and that will impregnate into the fabric and create a hard shell. But this will just stick on so much easier once I peel the wax paper backing off. And that way I'm not like having to hold it up with one hand and apply super glue like with the window screen. It's a real pain in the butt to try to hold it up and slowly do it. And your arms get tired being held up for so long. But you can see here another angle of that thing I've just built today. That'll need to be painted later and textured and stuff. You can see this thing I got perfected really well. I'm really happy with that. I'm happy as it goes along. And you can see here I actually started painting some of this panel that used to be all white, because it's the spray foam sanded down, and then painter's caulk sanded that down, perfected that, sculpted with that a lot. And I was going over it with black acrylic paint mixed with some textile medium to make sure it's nice and flexible. But I realized I could just put the I'm gonna want filler in it if I want to make it textured and have more body, because it went on too thin. It didn't really have any meat to it. It's almost like watercolor, how I put it on thin like that. So for filler, I bought this calcium carbonate, which is ground limestone. And if you put that in it, you can get more of a thickness to it, and then you can texture stamp it with, you take hot glue and you put hot glue on some leather, and then you use alcohol to release it, you peel it off, and that becomes your stamp. And then you press it into that. Once it's like close to being halfway dry, you can stamp it into that and create the texture of leather, which is what almost all the plastic has. You can see like the original plastic, you can see like a leather texture on all of it. So we want to get that type of texture on all plastic surfaces, just like they did. Here you can see this needs to be gone over in that way I just mentioned. This is still gray. We want it to be black because we're gonna do black seat covers. You can see I just finger painted these with black acrylic paint, and it looks way better than gray already. It's gloss acrylic paint. That's all I just did is acrylic. It got scuffed up a little bit there by my pants or something rubbing against it while I was working, but that was just a very thin coat. That's why we would do more coats like that. But I also bought some trim paint in a spray can, which is here, which I can use to spray stuff like this. Duplicate color trim and bumper paint. that should work for some of the hard stuff. Although this is like a flexible stuff, so I would probably use textile medium mixed with black acrylic paint to make it more flexible. But then I want to mix in the calcium carbonate. So like 1 part black acrylic, 1 part textile medium, 1.5 parts calcium carbonate was what ChatGPT and I came up with, to create something that would be flexible and have some body to it, so you can texture stamp it and do like 2 to 4 millimeters thick for creating texture on any type of like flexible chair paneling, which we have to do the arms of the chair, and we might want to do the seat belts to match, but I might leave it gray. I don't mind having some gray and some black, like a two-tone look, because that's the original color. So what then I realize is, you know, that's going to take, it's going to be pretty hard to get the texture. I was thinking about doing the entire roof and these side portions with the hand texturing and everything, but I think it'll actually be easier to use the headliner. So here's the headliner. You can see it's a foam backed headliner here. Here's the foam, and you can see it's like a fake leather. There we go. So I got a big roll of it, and I'm going to do that on the entire top from the glass window all the way back to the frame that marks where this light is. And then I'm going to go from just above that door, like right there, all the way across to the other side, the same height. So all of this will be the same headliner too, and this whole front part too, as well as all of this top. So this will all be that headliner, and then just from here there will be a line. I'll have it split where the headliner tucks into the line, and then out of that we'll use we could do manual texturing, or we could do this vinyl fit faux leather cloth that's basically the same as this headliner except no foam backing. Or we could use the headliner again and just make it look like a separate panel. So either way, but I prefer to use that other stuff without the foam just for this part right here. So yeah, my idea, I just thought like it's getting so smooth and it's so nice, it would be kind of cool just not even use these and just texture stamp it like I was saying. But I just realized that it's a little more imperfect than I realized, and it would be faster and easier to cover more imperfections using the glue-on of different types of faux leather fabrics would be a lot easier. And then you can see here we still got like evidence of paint damage from the fire, and so I'm going to tape off along here, or no, along the front of this metal part, and then along there and all the way down. We'll put a plastic barrier separating the front cab from the back, and then we'll put plastic down on the entire floor. And I'm gonna actually first I have to scuff sand with Scotch-Brite pads the entire thing and clean it with wax and grease remover, wipe it down, and then use a tack cloth and go over the whole thing. And then I need to use white spray paint, gloss white, to put a coat on everything, the entire roof and walls, and that will bring it back to life. And I only think I need one coat too, because we're not bringing it from like gray or black to white. We're just freshening up the existing white, because some of the smoke I could not clean off no matter how hard I scrubbed. It just would not come off. I guess like wherever the smoke interfaced with like some of the dirt or grime that was already on there, it like baked into that dirt and baked into the paint in such a way that it will not come off for me. And so I just think miscoating it all will make it look way cleaner, and so that'll be fine. I don't care if like some of the original scuffs from usage come through. I'm not looking for a perfect finish. I'm just looking for removing the evidence of a fire, not out of fraud. The buyer is my father-in-law, and he already knows about that, but out of just making it look nice, period. So that's one thing we'll be doing too. And then I got new leather or full leather seat covers that could just slide over the existing seats. But like I said, these armrests I don't think come with the seat covers, so that's why I have to paint them black myself. But this one's really bad still. You can see that's going to need to have the texturing and stuff done the way I was talking about with the texture stamping. So I still got my work cut out for me, but I'm getting there. And then these headliner, the sun visors need to also be done with the same headliner fabric. But we're chipping away at it. And I only have 3-day deadline to get all of this done, which I don't even know if that's possible. So we'll see. All right, so I just did one final pass on the ceiling. I just added more caulk here and just various spots kind of leveling out micro unlevelness and a little bit more along here. Here you can see I did 4 of these patches and then I soaked them in super glue. So it's nice and hard now, and that just adds more total surface area around this to keep it like anchored well. We're going for like anchoring it to a larger area since it's just foam behind it. It doesn't have anything like substantial to grab to, so it just has to hook onto mechanically a lot of foam, or not mechanically, but hook onto through a lot of glue, a lot of foam to maximize its grip so that we don't have to worry about this coming loose over time or busting off. But I also did a lot of perfecting here, and you can see I also put a bunch of patches like here and weak spots I found, because originally this was supposed to be recycled ABS plastic mixed with acetone to create an ABS slurry for 3D printing, like rejected models that failed in 3D printer. I melted it all down and I was just going to coat the whole top to make it a hard shell with that before I put on the headliner. But I ran out early, and so it was too thin in spaces, so I was like thickening it up with these patches with super glue, and then I super glued like the whole thing, and then I went over with caulk to like even it out more too. So it should be pretty hard and pretty even everywhere pretty much. And I like tested it like this kind of to feel how thick everything feels and how solid it feels, until I felt real confident with the whole thing. So I spent a lot of time with that, just like even in this area, like improving the feathering and the overall shape. And you can see I added a lot more caulk on that area, beefing it up and improving the shape. And I'm really happy with where everything's at now. I'm finally ready to put on the headliner. That's been what this has all been working toward, and that will make it all look completely new again. So it was a long journey to get here. You can see a couple more of the patches with super glue. They're rock hard. Super glue soaked into them. One here. I did like maybe 12 of them. So it's finally ready.